Hello, all, and welcome back to our ZoomCast series, Fresh Start the foodTech Experts, where we host global foodtech leaders and food industry experts for an up-close and personal chat. I'm Noga Shalev. I'm the VP Business Development at Fresh Start, an Israeli foodtech incubator, which is part of the evolving foodtech valley in the north of Israel. In our fourth episode, after hosting some of the world's leading foodtech entrepreneurs, today we'll get a chance to learn more of a big corporate perspective. As an incubator, we're strong advocates of having an industry perspective at a very early stage. And Symrise is one of Fresh Start's strategic partners, supporting the incubator and its portfolio companies in developing novel ingredients for the food industry and flavor and aroma products applications. And so I'm very happy to host Florian Herkner, Flo, heading Symrise's flavor division, plant-based global growth platform. Don't worry, we will learn shortly what this means, and whom I'm very happy also to consider a friend. So hi, Flo, welcome. It's a pleasure having you here today.
Nice to be here. Glad to have a chat with you tonight.
Yeah. And just before we start, I think maybe a few words about Symrise so everybody here knows what we're all about. So Symrise, and please correct me if I have anything got anything wrong. So Symrise is the third largest global flavors and fragrances leader today, with a 3.3 billion annual sales, and its business stretches across industries from food through health to cosmetics. Within the food industry, Symrise develops, produces, and sells flavorings and raw materials, as well as functional ingredients, sensory and nutrition solutions, and they're integrated into numerous culinary products and a variety of food categories. They actually specialize in tailor-made solutions from natural raw materials and plant cell cultures. So,
absolutely correct. Nothing to add here.
Perfect. So this brings us to you, actually. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Flo, and what is it exactly that you do in Symrise, and what's the professional journey that kind of took you to where you are right now, your current position?
All right. So again, thanks for the introduction. Thanks for the invitation for today. About myself, I took over the global growth platform for plant-based just 1 year ago. It is our growth platform in order to connect people and capabilities internally, also externally, to open opportunities, enable exchange between regional development centers and startups and technology providers. So really making us ready for the future of plant-based foods.
Cool. And about yourself, what's your background? What have you been doing so far?
My first education is I'm a qualified chef. So this is what I did in my past, in my youth. And then I did a master's in MBA business administration. And I'm working in food industries for over 15 years now. Started in retail first, and then went to trading of food ingredients. So all you got starches, acidulants, enzymes, emulsifiers, even flavors. And I joined Symrise 6.5 years ago. Was responsible for sales of beverages in the Eastern European hub, located here in Vienna. I'm also now sitting in Vienna, even if you can see from the background, the beautiful Austrian Alps, which is not the real background. So for real,
but it's beautiful still.
I'm seeing the skyline of Vienna outside the window here, and yeah, I'm thrilled. Forming the future of food and envisioning the future. And that's why I'm so happy being on the global growth platform now, where we really try to paint a picture of what the future is going to be and prepare ourselves and our customers to that.
Cool. And I mean, I've been we've been interviewing entrepreneurs before, and actually when you represent a huge corporate like Symrise, I guess it has benefits and it also poses some challenges. Can you kind of share a little bit of that?
Symrise is a huge ship. I mean, it's a tanker. It's global. It has a lot of resources. We have the cleverest people on board. We have the most dedicated people on board. Sometimes decisions really take long, but this is also the heritage of Symrise. This is what Symrise, or this is what made Symrise so successful. Yeah, really having a deep decision process to guide what's going to be next. It always involves a huge number of stakeholders, but this may seem rigid in one point, but on the other hand, this really brings the best out of it. And so I really love working in a big tanker like Symrise. It's great.
Yeah. And you touched upon pace and how long it might take. And this is really sometimes, I work with startups. I know how quick you have to be on your feet and you have to kind of grab the innovation when it comes. So I guess this is something that is a bit challenging when you kind of work with a big tanker as you present. And I know the position, I honestly understand. So, but tell me a little bit of how you cope with that.
We just need to find the right compromise here. So startups, they are really agile. They are fast in prototyping. They are really trying out new things. As Symrise, we cannot afford this. Yeah. So more than 3 billion turnover, more than 10,000 employees over here. It's not, we cannot just take decisions like this from one day to the other and then switch to a different direction. Yeah. So all this has to be aligned. And in collaborating with startups, we need partners like you, like Fresh Start, that help us to understand them better and help them understand us better, and then find the right way of collaborating. Yeah, bridging. Exactly.
Yeah. Did you ever feel like working in a startup yourself, or maybe being an entrepreneur?
Oh yeah, sometimes I had the wish. I mean, honestly, I'm full of ideas, and I had some ideas that even made it to the stage of a prototype, but never went any further. I was always employed in big companies, and maybe that's something for the future. I mean, some of the ideas are still in my drawer, so maybe I'll bring out one at a later stage. But for the time being, it's fine like it is.
Cool. And is it in food? The innovation is in food or in different areas? Just I'm curious.
It's in different things, but it's mainly food related, I have to say, really.
Nice. Oh, now you got me curious. We'll talk later on that. So sure. Maybe we could deep dive a little bit more into the specific field in which Symrise is operating. So before we start, maybe in order to frame the discussion, could you kind of share what's Symrise's agenda and what's its vision when it comes to food tech? What are you aiming for?
At Symrise, strategic research fields are the areas of sustainable processes and products, such as green chemistry, or the increased demand for perfumery ingredients based on renewable raw materials, as well as taste balancing or flavor optimization of preparations based on plant protein in this specific respect here. Essential research results are secured by way of stringent IP management, such as protective rights, and furthermore, all our R&D activities are geared to the guidelines of megatrends, consumer needs, customer requirements, naturalness, authenticity, sustainability, digitalization, innovation, and cost efficiency. So you see there's a vast number of things we need to consider when we are innovating, and also when it comes to food tech.
Yeah, well, it's a reflection of your value chain, actually, because you have kind of an extensive one. You go all the way from field through the ingredients into reaching the consumer. Can you maybe kind of describe a little bit how your value chain looks, what it looks like, and how you operate within it?
I mean, you ask for the consumer. So Symrise is one of the biggest producers of flavors and fragrances globally. So depending on the country where the consumer lives, they get in contact with Symrise products several times a day, be it in their food, in their drinks, but also in shower gels, or even in perfumes or household chemistry. So really, a lot of people, even if they don't know Symrise, they get in touch with us. Let's say our customers are spread all over the planet. We have local customers, regional customers, we have the global key accounts that are working with us. A lot of preferred partners here. And also in the supply chain, we have established a supply chain to ensure a constant quality and security of supply, to produce over 10,000 SKUs, meeting the requirements of our customers.
Mm-hmm. And in terms of innovation, you refer to a very wide range of innovation fields within it. And I guess it's different with each part of the value chain to innovate, whether it really depends on who they are and what's the sense that they kind of bring to the table. So is there kind of a specific area which you would say, this is where we put our focus, or are there certain partners that you feel easier working with?
I think that's not an easy question, because as I mentioned, how vast the field of activity for Symrise is. This really depends on the field where we're looking at. I mean, if for instance our nutrition division, Diana, where we have a lot of connections directly to the farmers, where we're sourcing directly in the fields. Also for citrus, we have a lot of strong collaborations here going on. And the same is true also for perfumery. I mean, you have some raw materials that are really scarce, that are hard to get. So we have to secure the right supply for ourselves.
Yeah, interesting. Global, we were just discussing earlier the climate change. I think it has a lot to do with that, really.
Sure. And I mean, we have a growing population, so we will not have more land by 2050, but we will have more people. So sustainability and the sustainability of the supply, that are key factors.
Yeah, and again, I mean, we discussed this a little bit earlier, but how do you actually incorporate innovation in when you want to work? And you find the right startup, you say, this is a good technology, I want this. What's your mode of operation? How do you kind of incorporate innovation in?
In R&D, again, Symrise aims to connect the individual components of product development, market research, sensory and consumer insights, R&D and creation throughout the group. So through the close link up of R&D with marketing and the business units, purchasing, manufacturing, product development, quality assurance, and regulatory issues, we check early in to see whether new products and technologies can be implemented, digitized, and if they are profitable, in addition to assessing their sustainability aspects. So you see, we are following these processes in order to make sure we are focusing on the right fields of innovation. This seems rigid, but this is key to success for a multinational company like Symrise. Only by partnering then with the right distribution partners, with consultants, platforms, startup hubs, as Fresh Start is, we are ready to deal with this new kind of companies and their new way of working. And these companies are vital for the future of food.
Maybe we should talk a little bit about competition. You know, you work in a very highly competitive arena, and maybe you can share a little bit, what does Symrise do in order to keep in touch with the innovation out there, attract startups to come to Symrise other than other places? What is it that you do in order to do that?
Sure. Innovation as a service, that's key for our success. Meanwhile, that's something in the industry. And as industry partners, innovation plays a crucial role to our customers. So in order to meet this expectation, we have developed different tools. One example is our trend scope that reflects social cultural drivers, consumer trends, trend and product manifestations, and emerging flavor and ingredient trends. One example here is our 12 urban hotspot trends, where we are collecting specific insights related to selected cities globally. So for plant-based in particular, we have jointly developed our so-called Relevance Radar for plant-based that allows us to monitor and evaluate different raw materials that are foreseen to impact the future of plant-based. And these trends and predictions are then translated into ready-to-eat, ready-to-drink concepts that are presented to our customers in order to help them and their marketing and R&D to design new products.
So it's a collaborative process. You work with them in order to define exactly what you need and how to implement it.
Absolutely.
Okay. And this is where startups come in. You know, I mean, you scout solutions that will address these trends.
In a way, I mean, and for early startups, it's key to be quick in their prototyping and getting consultancy on feasibility and market chances, but also getting access to funding and production facilities. So hubs like Fresh Start are the perfect opportunity for them to get in touch with industry players as well as other entrepreneurs who are on the same journey at this time. And many innovations, even the most disruptive ones, today are coming out of startups. And for us, it's important to work with the most promising ones from the very early stage. So
I couldn't agree more.
Just it is nearly impossible for us to follow up on all of them. That's why for Symrise, it is important to team up with partners like you in order to select and support the champions out there.
Agreed. Maybe just before we get to the fun part, where I ask you some direct, quick questions, which I want you to answer. Maybe a small take on Israel, if you can refer to how Symrise reviews Israel as an innovation hub.
You know, Israel is one of the 4 global hotspots when it comes to innovation, not only related to food. And we have historically very strong connections to the Israeli food industry. And our decision to partner with Fresh Start just reconfirms this strong belief in the Israeli innovation power.
Cool. So now, as I said, very quick questionnaire. I want you to sit tight and kind of answer intuitively and not to think too much. And this was intended to help us know you a little better. So, ready?
Ready, set, go.
Okay. What inspires you?
Behavior, nature. Yeah, some people inspire me with their behavior. Nature inspires me a lot. I love the ocean. I love the mountains. So that's usually where I go to relax and to free my mind. And
can relate to that, definitely.
I think I'm also quite inspiring to others. So inspiration is something I like to pass on the spark.
Cool. What is your favorite word? It could be German also, just whatever comes to mind.
Oh, there's a good one. It's Oida.
What's that?
You can check it out on YouTube. It's OIDA, Oida. It's a Viennese slang, but it's a multi-purpose word. You can say Oida for I'm surprised, or you can say Oida for I'm disappointed. It's a fun word.
Yeah, we have it in Hebrew, or actually in Arabic. We say voila.
Oh yeah.
What position other than yours would you like to attempt? Not necessarily in Symrise, generally, what occupation?
I think anything that relates to the future, trends, researching the future, trying to envision it, that's something that's really deep in my heart.
Futuristic.
Futuristic, yeah.
And what profession would you never like to do?
A watchmaker.
A watchmaker.
Yeah, that's too many details, too small things, too small bits and pieces. I would get, would kill me.
What is your favorite food, ex-chef?
Oh, basically, I love traditional food, so traditional Austrian food, but it really depends on the season. I mean, during summer, I love grilled fish with green vegetables and potatoes, and during wintertime, I love pork roast. So it really depends. It's not like my kids that could say, oh, this specific one. It's a variety of food.
Okay, and if you could choose anyone in the world, dead or alive, who would you like to get a cup of coffee with?
Good question. I never asked this question myself. There are people from the tech industry that are really interesting to meet. It's like I think Jeff Bezos, for example, is a person which would be interesting to meet. I think he has a really interesting personality from what I know. But I mean, even my grandfather would be interesting to meet for a cup of coffee, just to learn how he saw life 150 years ago. It's Napoleon would be a nice guy to meet because he was crazy in his mind in some way, but also something interesting to take away. I mean, and I love to talk to people. So name it and I'll meet it for a coffee.
Agreed. I had my coffee with you and I had a lot of fun doing that. So I can't thank you enough for this fascinating chat, and it was great having you with us. Any final words you want to give to our audience? Any early stage entrepreneurs in the food industry that you want to share your thoughts with?
Let's just make life taste better together. Reach out to us, reach out to Fresh Start if you're in the area of Israel, and contact us. Let's see how we can make your product better. Let's see how we can help feed 10 billion people in 2050.
Perfect. Thanks a lot. And for the rest of you, stay tuned for our next ZoomCast. We'll be hosting Veronica Fiel, co-founder and CEO of Grounded Foods, the alternative dairy cheese made out of cauliflower and hemp seed. So thank you all. Thank you, Flo, again. And goodbye.
Thanks, Noga. Have a great day.
You too.